Okay, you need to physically brace yourself for this right now because
Yeah.
I'm completely, like, I am unwell. I am vibrating at a frequency that, honestly, only dogs can hear.
Oh, God, what happened?
Okay, so we have a reality television star who has literally sent a real, like, legally binding cease and desist letter to their own castmates over a rumor. And I am not talking about a fake, produced for the cameras Bravo legal friend.
Right, like where they just print out a Word document and slide it across the reunion table for dramatic effect.
Exactly, not that. I am talking about an actual terrifyingly real cease and desist, and it is coming from someone on the Valley. My jaw is completely on the floor, and we are going to unpack the absolute madness of this today.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And honestly, before we get into the absolute celebrity chaos that is currently breaking the internet, could we just talk about the fact that our own lives are starting to sound like rejected Bravo storyline?
Oh, heavily rejected storylines, like
Yeah.
unairable.
Right. Because if you have ever felt like your daily existence is, I don't know, one minor inconvenience away from a full-blown villain origin story, you are so in the right place today. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore that super thin line between the drama we produce in our own lives and the very legally perilous drama on our screens.
Yes.
But first, what are we aggressively caffeinating with tonight? Because I need you to know, I am double fisting to cope with today's energy. I have an espresso martini, but I made the bartender add a completely unnecessary extra shot of espresso to it. I am trying to see sounds tonight.
I deeply, deeply support this journey for you, and I am matching your chaotic energy molecule for molecule. I have an espresso martini too, but I opted for the tequila version.
Oh, bold choice.
I mean, if we are going to dive into the absolute swamp of reality television today, I need the agave spirits to protect my aura.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you are listening to us right now, raise your glass, your mug, your emotional support water bottle, literally whatever you have. A toast to surviving another beautifully chaotic, completely unhinged day in the real world.
Cheers to that. Honestly, cheers to just waking up and choosing to participate in society, because today, society tested my last remaining nerve.
Oh no. Let's open up the therapy session. What happened?
Let me just vent for a second, because my day at the dental clinic was literally a hidden camera show. Like, as you know, we are medical professionals, right? We went to school for entirely too long to learn how to operate heavy machinery inside the human mouth.
Right, we are highly trained for this.
Highly trained. But today, I had this patient. And she is the sweetest woman on planet Earth, truly, a lovely soul. But she was so overly emotional and so overly talkative and completely oblivious to the physical reality that my hands were inside her oral cavity.
Oh my gosh, with the sharp instruments.
Yes, with incredibly sharp, vibrating dental instruments. She is trying to give me the full, decades-long history of her sister's messy divorce while I am actively trying to excavate a cavity.
Stop it. How do you even respond to that?
I couldn't. She is sobbing about property division. I am furiously using the suction tube, and she is trying to articulate the nuances of a prenuptial agreement through a mouthful of cotton gauze. I mean, by 10 in the morning, I was so emotionally exhausted, I felt like I had just mediated a custody battle.
That is deeply hilarious to me, mostly because you think your clinic is the only one operating like a chaotic ensemble cast right now.
Wait, what's happening at your clinic?
Okay, over at my clinic, the front desk staff are currently embroiled in this feud over the communal fridge that is rivaling literally anything we have ever seen on television. It is a masterclass in passive-aggressive warfare.
Oh, the break room fridge. It's always the fridge.
Always. I was standing there this afternoon just kind of analyzing the shifting power dynamics of my hygienists and realizing that our two dental clinics are basically running like a Bravo cast trip.
Wait, who did what?
There are secret alliances being formed over who took the last of the oat milk. Someone left a heavily underlined, aggressively punctuated Post-it note on a Tupperware container of leftover lasagna.
No, they didn't. A Post-it note.
Yes. And I actually had to step in and mediate the conflict like I was hosting a reunion special. It is a fascinating microcosm of human madness, honestly. We think reality TV is exaggerated, but if you put a camera in any American break room, you will find the exact same tribalism.
See, you say this. You claim to be the mediator,
Right?
but you also are the architect of your own madness.
Excuse me.
I need to hold a mirror up to you right now. You started the group chat madness way, way too early this morning.
Okay, it wasn't that early.
I woke up, rolled over, looked at my phone with one eye open, and there were 47 notifications from you. 47.
I had a lot of thought.
And what was the emergency? What was the crisis that required a 6 a.m. barrage of texts? It was a TikTok rabbit hole you fell into about 2000s pop culture. You were sending me multi-part deep dives on the cultural significance of chunky blonde highlights while the sun had not even risen.
Okay, let's unpack the mechanics of this.
No.
Because you are painting me as an intentional villain here, and I am merely a victim of the algorithm's psychological warfare.
The algorithm didn't make you text me 47 times.
But I couldn't sleep. I opened the app for what I intended to be like 3 seconds of baseline dopamine, and suddenly the app decides I need to watch a 40-part sociological documentary series on the impact of the 2007 denim miniskirt.
Right, highly educational.
It was educational. It was cultural anthropology. It explained so much about how millennial consumerism was shaped by paparazzi culture. And frankly, I needed you to weigh in on whether or not we should bring back the velour tracksuit as standard clinic uniform.
Absolutely not. We're not wearing velour to drill teeth.
I think the comfort level would increase productivity. Besides, you have absolutely zero room to judge my digital boundaries. When you initiated a 3-hour FaceTime conversation last night that was explicitly billed as a quick hello.
Okay, I was processing complex emotional data. I had things to process.
A quick hello, that's what you said?
I called you to ask a single binary question about whether I should order Thai food or sushi for dinner. And somehow, through just the natural flow of conversation, we ended up unpacking the entire trajectory of our 20s.
And our unresolved career anxieties.
Exactly. And the concept of time passing. You cannot blame me for the fact that a quick hello organically evolved into a nocturnal therapy session. And for the record, I ordered the Thai food, and it was a strategic error.
Why? Was it bad?
No, it was great, but it delayed my entire grocery store adventure today, which completely derailed my schedule. Let me vent, please. I need the floor to explain the psychological torture of my errands today.
The floor is yours. Walk me through the trauma.
So I went to the grocery store. I had a precise list. 3 items. It should have been a 15-minute, highly tactical surgical strike.
Let me guess. It wasn't 15 minutes.
Not even close. As I walked in, I was hit by this incredibly specific, overwhelming craving for those ridiculous, overly priced, gluten-free, spicy chili mango slices.
Oh, those are so good, though.
They are. So I scoured the aisles. I walked up and down the snack aisle so many times, utilizing different search patterns, that the employees genuinely thought I was casing the joint for a robbery.
Did you find them?
No. I could not find them, but my brain absolutely refused to accept defeat. I would not leave without them.
Yeah.
An entire hour of my one precious fleeting human life was spent searching for dehydrated fruit dusted in cayenne pepper.
Oh, my God.
It's a humiliating display of consumer stubbornness, just a total failure of emotional regulation.
What's truly fascinating here is the sheer delusion we operate under on a daily basis. You genuinely thought you could execute a 15-minute grocery run, ignoring the reality that grocery stores are literally designed by psychologists to disorient you.
It's a trap. It's a literal trap.
Meanwhile, I am over here dealing with the latest chapter of my apartment building's missing package drama, which has basically turned me into a paranoid surveillance state of one.
Oh, no. What did the leasing office do now?
The management portal sent me a digital photo of my package delivered to a door that is very clearly structurally not my door.
How do you know?
Because the door in the photo has a seasonal wreath on it. I do not own a seasonal wreath. I am not a seasonal wreath person.
You really aren't.
Right. So I spent 30 minutes wandering the fluorescent lit hallways of my own building, inspecting everyone's doors like a total creep.
You were investigating the wreaths.
Yes. Trying to cross-reference the foliage from the blurry photo to reclaim my expensive vitamins. We are living in a state of perpetual delusion. We keep telling ourselves a narrative that we are going to magically become emotionally stable, heavily organized, wealthy adults who meal prep perfectly by next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is always the finish line. It's the greatest lie we ever told ourselves.
And yet, here I am, essentially preparing to steal my own mail from a neighbor's doormat because I refuse to call the leasing office.
I mean, calling the office is just too much social interaction for one day.
Yeah.
But you know what actually breaks the human spirit? It is never the massive life events. We handle crises surprisingly well.
That is so true. It's the little things.
It's the tiny inconveniences that bypass all our coping mechanisms. So I finally get out of the grocery store, sans spicy mango, and I decide to treat myself to a massive $8 iced coffee to soothe my wounded inner child.
Okay, little treat. We love a little treat.
I am walking to my car. The sun is shining. I am having a rare moment of peace and alignment with the universe. And then the plastic lid pops off.
Oh no, please don't tell me.
The structural integrity of the cup completely fails, and an entire venti extra ice oat milk nightmare explodes all over the scorching pavement, splashing up and entirely coating my brand new favorite white sneakers.
Oh, the visceral pain of that image. What did you do?
I did nothing. I just stood there. I didn't even try to reach for a napkin or assess the damage initially. I just stared down into the brown, icy puddle of my own despair and felt genuine tears welling up in my eyes. Over a beverage.
Honestly, valid.
It escalated into a full existential emotional crisis right there in the parking lot. I questioned all my life choices. I genuinely wondered if the universe was actively, maliciously punishing me for taking 3 hours to order Thai food the night before.
It is the absolute textbook definition of the straw breaking the camel's back.
Yeah.
When your central nervous system is already overloaded by the baseline stress of existing, a spilled coffee isn't just a spilled coffee. It is a physical manifestation of everything going wrong.
Exactly. It was a dark, dark moment of the soul.
Well, babes, enough about our beautifully chaotic, coffee-stained lives. We need to pivot. Let's get into the celebrity gossip, the viral drama, and the internet madness that brought us all here to this deep dive today.
Yes, please take me away from my own problems. I am so ready.
Because if you are sitting there thinking that we are unhinged for crying over iced coffee, just wait until you hear how the people who are paid millions of dollars to be messy are handling their actual real-world problems.
Immerse me in the manufactured yet highly legally actionable drama of reality television.
Okay, let's start with the phenomenon of the production glitch. From the PR spin of editing errors to the chaos of the Vanderpump Rules universe, the internet remains undefeated. Production editing errors are basically the greatest gift the universe can ever bestow upon a fandom.
Truly a blessing.
So over on the House of Stassi show, there was a massive, catastrophic audio glitch. The editors accidentally left in a raw moment of audio showcasing either Ariana Madix or Katie Maloney explicitly discussing their quote-unquote fiancé.
Wait.
Yes. And the internet, obviously, exploded into 1,000 different conspiracy theories. The immediate raging rumor that caught fire across every social media platform is that Ariana Madix is secretly engaged to her boyfriend, Daniel Way.
Okay, we have to unpack the mechanics of how this happens and why it matters so much. First of all, the fact that an editing glitch is what sparks this massive rumor is so peak internet culture right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Reality TV is so heavily produced and so carefully curated that the audience just no longer trusts the final cut. They're constantly looking for the seams, the hot mic moments, because that is where the perceived truth actually lives.
Right. They want the raw footage.
But it's the fan reactions that are sending me over the edge and require some deep psychological analysis. If you look at the comments section on these rumor posts, it is a brutal landscape of parasocial projection.
It really is. What were they saying?
People are literally in the comment section saying, and I quote, Ariana has severe intimacy issues, and claiming that she loves to drag out a sexless relationship for years just to bite her partner's head off later.
Wow. That is incredibly harsh.
Right. Someone literally wrote, I hope Daniel is getting paid from this weird PR relationship. I just have to stop and ask, how toxic is the fandom right now?
Extremely toxic.
Think about the actual timeline here. This woman gets out of a decade-long, highly public, deeply traumatic relationship that ended in a globally viral betrayal.
The betrayal of the century, honestly.
She finds a seemingly nice, normal guy who lives across the country and likes to cook. Instead of cheering for her healing, the internet diagnoses her with clinical intimacy issues and dismisses the relationship as a PR stunt. Why are audiences so hostile to a reality star pacing their own life in a healthy way?
It's because healthy pacing doesn't provide the chaotic entertainment value they feel entitled to. If we connect this to the bigger picture of how we consume women's trauma as entertainment, it is wildly fascinating how quickly the narrative spins.
Yeah, they turn on you so fast.
People are projecting so much of their own unhealed baggage onto Ariana's recovery timeline. The audience feels they own her trauma because they watched it unfold on their TVs, so they feel entitled to dictate exactly how she heals.
Which is so messed up.
But let's look at the absolute, undeniable karmic poetry of this situation. Let's look at the mechanisms of karma playing out in real estate.
Oh, I love where this is going.
You have Ariana, who is navigating a new relationship, thriving professionally, and the biggest rumor surrounding her is that she might be taking the very normal, healthy step of getting engaged, or at least moving to New York.
Right, she's doing great.
Meanwhile, look at the other side of the equation. Look at her ex. Tom Sandoval allegedly needs a literal protection order from a mentally unstable person currently living inside his home. The very home he fought so viciously to keep.
It's wild.
His best friend literally cried on camera about Tom's physical safety, wishing he would leave the toxicity. Talk about karmic retribution. One is debating engagement rumors and Broadway runs, and the other is trapped in a domestic house of horrors that he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees to retain.
It is the definition of the sunk cost fallacy mixed with cosmic irony. You fought for the house, Tom. You manipulated, you strategized, you won the house. And now you are physically trapped inside it with a nightmare scenario.
Be careful what you wish for, right?
Exactly. It proves that sometimes the universe's punishment is simply giving you exactly what you fought so hard for. But let's use a smooth transition to move from the current cast to the alumni. Because you mentioned the House of Stassi platform, and we really need to analyze Stassi Schroeder herself.
Oh, Stassi's always giving us material.
She is currently on a massive press tour, and she is executing a very specific PR strategy. She is spilling everything.
What did she say?
She is openly discussing her old pump rules salary. She is talking about the exact mechanics of getting fired. She is heavily implying and actively discussing whether Lisa Vanderpump turned a blind eye to the toxic, misogynistic behavior of the men on the show over the years.
Which is a huge accusation.
Huge. She gave an update on her husband, Beau. She threw some calculated shade at Shiana, and she dropped the strategic bomb that she officially turned down a highly coveted spot on the Valley.
The Stassi of it all is always a masterclass in PR maneuvering and audience polarization. She operates like a political candidate running on a platform of controversial nostalgia.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Right. She is out here giving these interviews, dropping these perfectly calibrated sound bites to stay relevant, and it is working flawlessly because she understands the ecosystem. She knows exactly what keywords to say to get the reality TV aggregators typing furiously.
Oh, she knows how to make a headline.
But if we analyze the comment section, it is a deeply divided landscape that shows how fragmented cancel culture actually is right now.
What are the fans saying?
Yeah, fans who are absolutely furious. She even has a microphone. One commenter literally wrote, "Stassi is racist, period. You all want to ignore the fact she is physically and verbally abusive, but cancel men at the first sign of an accusation."
Wow. They are not holding back.
They're holding her morally accountable and pointing out the hypocrisy of the audience who demands consequences for men but gives a total pass to iconic mean girls.
Exactly. And then, on the complete flip side of the sociological coin, you have fans who couldn't care less about the moral implications of her past actions or her takes on Bravo's toxic workplace culture. They are just viscerally angry about the economics of it all.
Wait, what do you mean?
I saw a comment that stated, "No one cares what Bravo paid these nitwits. They were lucky to get anything at all, TBH."
Oh, the financial resentment?
Yes. It's fascinating because people are furious on two totally different frequencies here. One side is demanding moral purity and accountability, and the other side is just insulted by the economic reality that uneducated people behaving badly on television make more money than essential workers.
Right. It's either moral or financial.
Exactly. But it all points back to a deep discomfort with how reality TV rewards bad behavior.
Which brings us to the absolute pinnacle of rewarding bad behavior. We are pivoting to the Valley, and we need to talk about the diabolical actions of Janet Caperna. Because this is where the line between manufactured drama and actual liability gets completely erased.
Oh, my blood pressure just spiked just hearing her name. I need everyone listening to mentally strap in because we have to passionately unpack this.
Go for it.
Janet Caperna is currently doubling down on throwing her drink and her cup at Danny Booko during the finale at Brittany Cartwright's Halloween party.
It was so unhinged.
For anyone who might have mercifully blocked out the sheer, screeching chaos of that finale, let me set the scene. In the middle of an argument, Janet physically throws her cup and her beverage at Danny. Now, most people would wake up the next day, realize they committed a minor battery on camera, and issue a groveling apology, right?
You would think so. A normal person would.
But on the Valley After Show, what are Janet's only regrets? Does she express remorse for the physical escalation? No. Does she apologize for crossing a boundary? Absolutely not.
So what does she regret?
Her only stated regrets are that she wasn't drinking red wine, specifically so it would have permanently stained his clothing, and that she messed up Brittany's nice patio furniture. She literally offered a more sincere apology to an inanimate outdoor rug than she did to a human being.
It is a stunning, breathtaking display of reality TV villainy, but we really need to analyze why she's doing this. Let me read you Janet's exact verbatim quote from the after show because it requires scholarly psychological analysis to understand this level of delusion.
Please read it. I need to hear it again.
She says, and I quote, "I could sit here and lie and say I shouldn't have done that and whatever. I regret that I wasn't drinking red wine. And I regret that Brittany put together such a nice party and invited us into her home, and that I may have gotten wine on her patio. You know what? Danny fucked around and found out. Don't stick your fingers in my face. You come for my husband, Jason Caperna. You come for me.
I have no words.
Now, I have to ask, does Janet possess even a microscopic ounce of self-awareness? Or is this a calculated strategy? To sit in front of a professional camera crew months after the event, after presumably consulting with PR, and say my only regret is that the liquid wasn't more damaging, is borderline sociopathic behavior.
It really is.
But in the ecosystem of Bravo, doubling down is often rewarded with job security.
It is a survival tactic, but it's a super dangerous one.
Yeah.
But here's where the psychology gets deeply weird because someone actually defended her.
Wait, who defended that?
Michelle Sanier completely related to Janet's lack of emotional control and defended the drink toss on the same after show. But look at the mechanism Michelle used to justify it. Michelle told this intensely dark, deeply traumatic story to explain why throwing things is acceptable.
Oh no, what does she say?
She said that during her divorce, when she felt she was being verbally attacked by Jesse Lally, and he was allegedly calling her horrendous names, she had wine in her hand and she threw it on him. She said, quote, "I was going through a divorce, my mom was dying, and you decided to call me a hooker. I get it. It's like emotions, you're frustrated, you got the wine in your hand, and it is what it is."
Oh my gosh, that is a massive false equivalence.
Right. Now, pause and look at this. I completely understand losing your grip on reality when you are navigating a divorce, experiencing verbal abuse, and watching your mother pass away. That is a crucible of human trauma.
Absolutely. Anyone would snap.
But to use the agony of your mother's death to justify Janet throwing a cocktail at a guy dressed as a pirate at a Halloween party just because he pointed a finger in her general direction. It's an astronomical leap of logic, Michelle. You cannot equate profound grief to a petty ego bruise.
It is such a massive false equivalence, and the cast is thankfully calling out the hypocrisy in real time, because reality TV only works when the cast polices each other's logic. Luke Broderick called out Janet's massive, glaring double standards.
Good for Luke. What did he say?
He reminded the audience that Janet previously said to him, "What are you going to do with your bum leg?" And Janet treated that verbal comment as if it was a literal war crime. She demanded absolute contrition. But she thinks escalating to throwing a physical object at someone is totally fine because she felt disrespected.
Make it make sense.
Even Danny chimed in, pulling back the curtain on the off-camera machinations. He said he had Janet's posse telling him all season that she was going to eventually apologize, kind of stringing him along, and she never did. He pointed out that she just continues to double down and lie, and it's completely backfiring on her likability.
And you know you have crossed a terrifying line when Lala Kent becomes the voice of reason and restraint.
Oh my God, yes, Lala of all people.
Right. Lala admitted she was so angry with Janet for crashing out like that. Lala analyzed the scene perfectly. She said Danny was basically handing himself over on a silver platter in that argument, making a total fool of himself with his words, and all Janet had to do was sit back and let him look crazy.
Exactly. Just let him talk.
Instead, Janet let her temper turn her into the physical aggressor, instantly losing the moral high ground. Lala was like, "I don't give a fuck what he said. That was not okay for her to do."
When Lala tells you to dial it back, you have a problem.
And then you have Kristen Dowd, the undisputed queen of chaotic, boundary-pushing behavior herself, officially labeling Janet as diabolical. Kristen said, "I can be my worst enemy. That's sometimes be his worst enemy. Janet is diabolical."
Wow.
When Kristen Dowd looks at your behavior and classifies it as dark and diabolical, you need to check yourself into a spiritual retreat immediately. That is like Darth Vader telling you that you have anger issues.
It is so true. It raises an incredibly important question about reality TV longevity and the creation of a persona. Is Janet playing a heightened character to secure a season 2 contract? Or is this just who she fundamentally is?
I think it's who she is.
Well, because if you look at the trajectory of fan reactions, a very clear comparison is emerging. Based on her sheer refusal to apologize, the constant doubling down, the total lack of accountability, and the self-satisfied smirking on the after show, Janet is actively utilizing the Lisa Rinna playbook.
100%.
She is trying to become the Lisa Rinna of the Valley. The fans see the mechanics of it perfectly. There's a comment that literally says, "I bet Janet admired Lisa Rinna." It is that exact strategy. Do something outrageous to secure camera time, refuse to apologize, claim you were somehow provoked by the victim, and then try to iconicize the moment with catchphrases.
It's so transparent.
But the massive difference that Janet is failing to grasp is that Rinna had decades of soap opera training. She knew how to play a villain with a wink to the audience. Janet doesn't have that charisma. She just looks deeply, genuinely mean.
And this is where the manufactured villainy crashes headfirst into real-world consequences. Which brings us to the dramatic hook we mentioned at the start of this deep dive. Because when you create an environment this toxic, the legal system eventually enters the chat.
Oh, the cease and desist, tell me everything.
The Valley's Lacey Nicole just sent a massive, legally binding cease and desist letter over a shocking rumor. Lacey is not holding back and playing the Bravo game of, oh, we'll address it at the reunion. She is actively exposing the side of Jesse that viewers apparently don't see. She is addressing Danny's triggered diss aggressively, and she is using actual lawyers to stop the spread of defamation.
Wow, she's not playing around.
This is fascinating from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Usually, networks try to discourage cast members from suing each other because it ruins the filming dynamic. But when the cease and desist start flying after only season 1, you know the cast dynamics are completely fundamentally fractured. They don't view each other as co-workers anymore. They view each other as legal liabilities.
I am so emotionally invested in the legal mechanics of this, and apparently so is the internet. Let me read you what the commenters are saying, because they're dragging Janet by her Halloween costume. And it really highlights how audiences police behavior.
What are they saying?
They're calling her a Looney Tune, a mean girl, and I am just reporting this exactly as it was written. We take absolutely zero political sides on this deep dive. We are just conveying the ideas contained in the original source material. But one fan called her a lying liberal bitch.
People are so angry.
People are furious, and they are pointing out the legal reality that throwing liquids or objects in people's faces is literally classified as battery and assault in the eyes of the law. One fan astutely said she reminds them of the high school bullies who have gotten away with their behavior their entire lives because nobody ever pressed charges.
That is so accurate.
The audience isn't just annoyed. They are demanding legal and moral justice.
It is a total rejection of the villain archetype. But speaking of legal and financial justice, we have to transition from the toxic combative marriages on the Valley to the absolute financial wreckage happening right now in Beverly Hills.
Oh, Beverly Hills is a mess right now.
Because if we are talking about delusion colliding with the legal system, we have to talk about PK and Dort Kemsley's separation chaos.
This is a masterclass in shifting the narrative through the press. PK is finally speaking out, and he is not going for emotional closure. He is coming for the financial jugular.
What did he say?
For years, Dort has meticulously cultivated this image of absolute, head-to-toe, label-obsessed luxury. She wears outfits that cost more than most people's cars. And now, PK is stating on the record to the press that Bravo absolutely does not require Dort to spend $700,000 on designer clothing.
Wait, $700,000?
Yes. He is basically pulling the curtain back on the economics of the Real Housewives and saying this financial hemorrhage was a personal choice, a vanity project, not a wardrobe department mandate.
Okay, I have to push back on PK's framing here, or at least play devil's advocate for a second, because we have to look at how reality TV functions as a business.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Dort is coming back at him saying that PK only has the kids 5% of the time, and because of that massive disparity in custody, she is fully entitled to child support. Now, do I think Dort is operating out of pure cold logic right now? Absolutely not.
No, she's definitely emotional.
I think Dort is heavily revenge motivated. She is hurt, her life has been upended, the facade of her perfect marriage has crumbled publicly, and she is using the kids' custody percentage as a weapon to punish him financially for the embarrassment of the separation.
Totally.
But regarding the clothes, in the Bravo ecosystem, your wardrobe is your job security. If Dort shows up in Target, she loses her diamond. So she views that $700,000 as a necessary business expense to maintain her status on the show.
I understand the logic of the wardrobe as business expense, but if we connect this to the grim reality of family law in California, Dort might be driving a luxury sports car straight toward a legal cliff.
Wait, explain the math on that.
Let's explain the mechanism of how a divorce court looks at this. A family court judge does not care about your Bravo storyline. A judge does not care about the necessity of securing a center diamond or who bought the most Birkins to impress Andy Cohen. A judge looks at cold, hard math.
Right, they just look at the spreadsheets.
Exactly. If they do a deep dive into the forensic accounting and discover that Dorrit, through her Bravo salary, her Instagram sponsorships, and her brand deals, actually makes more gross income on paper than PK currently does, a judge might give her a very, very rude awakening.
Oh, because of the income disparity.
Yes. In California, child support is a strict mathematical formula based on income and timeshare. If she out-earns him significantly, she might be the one writing him a check, regardless of her claim that he only has the kids 5% of the time. This is called the imputation of income, and it ruins reality stars.
That is wild. I bet she didn't even think of that.
One of the fan comments hit the nail perfectly on the head, saying, "She isn't thinking of the kids, she isn't thinking of anyone but herself. A judge is going to decide who pays what, and if she makes more money than PK does, she might be in for a very big surprise."
It is the ultimate collision of reality TV delusion and the unforgiving nature of the judicial system. You just cannot outproduce a family court judge.
You really can't.
Which brings me to our other favorite franchise, currently operating under massive delusion, Salt Lake City. The internet is absolutely buzzing with rumors that over in Utah, Whitney and Justin Rose have quietly filed for divorce.
And the fans are not offering sympathy. They are offering cynical structural analysis. The fans are fully theorizing that Whitney is just dragging this out or even fabricating the severity of it strictly for a storyline.
Oh, they think it's fake.
Yes, they are calling it the Kyle Richards effect. The comments are brutal, dissecting the timing and the motivation. People are saying things like, "Wonder if she'll drag this on as long as Kyle has." After all, it is a solid storyline for a couple of seasons, right? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
They are suggesting Whitney is strategically burning down her life and rebranding to ensure she stays relevant on a highly competitive cast. If you are sitting there wondering why someone would do this, you have to ask yourself, do you think he's genuinely splitting, or is this the ultimate reality TV survival tactic?
What's deeply fascinating here, and what you have to understand about the economy of these shows, is that in the Bravo universe, the line between an authentic emotional crisis and a heavily produced storyline has completely dissolved.
It doesn't even exist anymore.
It doesn't even matter if the pain is real anymore, because the monetization of the pain is definitely real. Whitney knows the formula. A stable, happy marriage gets you minimal screen time and eventually gets you demoted to a friend of. But a marital crisis, a separation,
That gets you center stage.
that guarantees you the center snowflake in the intro. It guarantees you the prime seat at the reunion. The structure of the show inherently incentivizes the destruction of your personal life.
It's a terrifying incentive structure. You're literally paid more if your life falls apart. But let's leave the snow of Utah and head to the sunshine of California, because the next topic is all about Real Housewives of Orange County, grudges, stirred pots, and fake slapstick. And the OC chaos is giving me absolute life right now because it is so incredibly petty.
Break down the Shannon Beador mechanics for us. What is happening?
Shannon is currently slamming comedian Heather McDonald, publicly calling her obsessed. And why is this feud happening? Because Heather posted a video brilliantly mocking Shannon, suggesting that Shannon is acting intentionally clumsy on camera this season.
Like tripping and stuff.
Tripping, falling, dropping things, just to create a goofy, lighthearted slapstick storyline to distract the audience from her very real, very dark, real-life legal issues regarding her DUI. Shannon is trying to produce herself as a lovable klutz to avoid talking about the breathalyzer.
And you have to admit, Heather McDonald's analytical point deeply resonated with the audience, because the audience can spot a deflection strategy from a mile away.
Oh, they saw right through it.
I'm looking at a fan comment that sarcastically and brutally sums up the audience's refusal to be manipulated. It says, "I'm glad someone is finally calling her out on her stupid fake slapstick stick. How dumb does she think we are? The only time she really fell was when she fell asleep behind the wheel and drove into somebody's goddamn house."
I literally cannot. The fans take absolutely no prisoners. That is so incredibly dark. But honestly, it points to the massive elephant in the room that Shannon is desperately trying to slapstick her way out of. She thinks if she trips over a rug, we'll forget she drove into a building.
But speaking of massive elephants and even more massive egos, let's talk about Heather Dubrow's latest press tour.
Oh, boy.
Heather is out here doing interviews, claiming that Jen Pedranti is acting totally, fundamentally different off-camera than she does on camera. She is accusing Jen of creating manufactured, inorganic drama for the show, specifically amid her conflict with Tamra.
Which is incredibly rich coming from Heather Dubrow, the undisputed queen of producing her own life and curating every single syllable she utters on camera.
Truly the pot calling the kettle black.
Mm-hmm.
But the really messy, high-stakes part of Heather's press tour is the friendship update regarding Vicki Gunvalson.
What's the update?
Heather highlighted that things are extremely tense, specifically noting that her husband, Dr. Terry Dubrow, is, quote, really pissed about Vicki's inheritance claims and the financial rumors she's been spreading.
Listen, you do not want to mess with Terry Dubrow's money, his medical reputation, or his legal team. And then, to add a gallon of gasoline to the Orange County fire, we have Tamra Judge teasing a massive apocalyptic fight with Shannon on the upcoming Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip.
Because, of course, Tamra is in the middle of it.
Always. Tamra is labeling Shannon a grudge holder, and she is aggressively accusing Jen of trying to stir the pot with these claims about Heather. It is just a relentless circular firing squad of women in their 50s screaming at each other in expensive resort wear.
So I have to ask you a structural question, kind of putting you on the spot as an analyst of this behavior. Looking at this entire Orange County landscape right now, the shifting alliances, the press tours, is there anyone in the Bravo universe more full of themselves than Heather Dubrow?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Because she operates with this air of supreme, almost aristocratic superiority that is both fascinating to watch and deeply alienating to her castmates. She speaks to them like a disappointed headmistress.
Okay, yes. Heather Dubrow's ego has its own dedicated zip code, and she uses words like defamatory when someone dares to criticize the fondant bow on her cake.
Exactly.
But I will argue until I am blue in the face that Tamra Judge is the ultimate toxic presence in that cast, and I'll explain why using a political metaphor.
Let's hear it.
Tamra operates exactly like a ruthless political attack dog running a negative smear campaign. Tamra is a toxic presence who explicitly waits for people to be at their absolute lowest, most vulnerable point, and then she kicks them to guarantee herself camera time and secure her incumbent seat on the show.
She goes for the jugular.
Look at how she treated Shannon. Shannon is struggling. She is at rock bottom. She is dealing with massive public humiliation. And instead of protecting her friend, Tamra weaponizes it for a storyline.
And the fans see it too.
Even the fans see the mechanics of her cruelty. One fan wrote, Tamra is a toxic bitch who should never be trusted. Shannon is a loon, but she needs to keep her distance from this a-hole. You can deal with Heather's condescension because it's just snobbery. You cannot survive Tamra's betrayals because they're calculated to destroy you.
It is a phenomenal distinction. Heather will talk down to you and correct your vocabulary, but Tamra will actively try to dismantle your life. It's a difference between arrogance and active malice.
Exactly.
But let's take a flight from the manufactured drama of Orange County over to Georgia.
Yeah.
Because we need to discuss Real Housewives of Atlanta, casting rumors, and the very dark, real-world consequences of reality TV fame. Because Andy Cohen just had to step in and shut down the internet.
I am so incredibly glad he did, because the rumors were spiraling completely out of control. There were massive, widespread reports circulating on all the blogs that Bravo was desperately trying to woo Nene Leakes back to RHOA to save the ratings.
And what else?
And simultaneously, that Shemaya Morton was being fired and wasn't returning next season. The internet was in an absolute frenzy debating the future of the franchise. But Andy Cohen officially went on the record, shut the rumors down entirely, and confirmed the cast will remain exactly the same.
Which, if we look at the sociology of the fan response, is probably for the best. The idea of bringing Nene back always sounds great in theory because audiences crave the nostalgia of the golden era of reality TV. We want the early 2010s back.
We really do. It was so good.
But people quickly forget the reality of how toxic and unwatchable it got at the very end of her tenure. One commenter accurately noted, and did anyone forget how awful Nene was before she left the show? She sucked and was full of herself.
Yeah, the vibes got really dark.
Another provided a different solution, saying, oof, please let this pass. Do not want Nene back. In that case, just bring back Cynthia full-time. She at least brings class to the show. The audience wants the memory of Nene, not the current reality of her.
But let's talk about the real reason Shemaya might be taking a slight step back or having a different storyline next season, because I finally get to share some happy, emotionally pure news Shemaya Morton is expecting.
Oh my gosh, yay.
The news was actually confirmed by Pinky Cole, so everyone can calm down with the malicious firing rumors. The woman isn't getting axed. She's just building her family and prioritizing real life over manufactured drama.
It is truly lovely news. But unfortunately, the reality TV ecosystem rarely lets us stay in the joy for long. We have to bring the mood down for a second to discuss the darker, more insidious side of reality television. And this is where the internet truly becomes a toxic cesspool.
What's going on?
Kandi Burruss recently had to reveal that her daughter, Riley, is receiving racist hate mail amid the next-gen NYC drama.
This makes me so incredibly angry, and it really requires us to look at the parasocial contracts audiences form. Riley is a young woman who basically grew up on camera without ever really consenting to it as a child. She was a prop in her mother's storyline for years.
Right, she didn't choose this life initially.
And now, as a young adult, she's trying to navigate her own life, her own identity, and her own show in New York. And the fans feel so deeply entitled to critique her every move that they cross the line from standard reality TV shade into actual vitriolic racism and hate mail. It is disgusting, and it shows how reality TV dehumanizes its subjects.
It raises a vital ethical question about the boundaries of reality TV parenting and the terrifying nature of fan parasocial relationships. Because even when Condi is publicly confronting the hate mail and trying to protect her child, the fan reactions are incredibly harsh towards Condi's parenting, blaming her for the audience's reaction.
That is so unfair.
We're seeing comments claiming Condi created the mess that is Riley. One fan wrote, "She doesn't have to say please or thank you. What? She is so immature, it's pathetic. Everyone is supposed to babysit her. Stay home if you can't handle it. Better yet, get off the show." The audience feels they have the authority to parent a stranger's child.
I have to aggressively defend the situation here and break down the dynamics. First of all, nobody deserves hate mail, let alone racist hate mail, simply for lacking polished manners on a reality show. That is a wild, disproportionate escalation.
Totally agree.
But secondly, I want to push back on the fans who say Riley is too immature and should just get off the screen. Let's look at her actual dynamic with Ariana on the show. I will defend Ariana's role as a true, stabilizing friend to Riley. Ariana does everything for her, tries to guide her, and acts as a mentor.
Yeah, Ariana's been great.
Yes, Riley is figuring it out. Yes, she is acting privileged and sometimes out of touch. But she is a kid learning how to live in the real world, and she is being forced to make her awkward, youthful mistakes while millions of people watch and judge her relentlessly. Kandi is trying to support her daughter's independence without throwing her under the bus publicly, and I think that's exactly what a protective mother should do in an impossible situation.
It's the ultimate double-edged sword of generational wealth that is built entirely on reality TV fame. You give your children everything, the money, the access, the platform, the opportunities. But the hidden cost is that you can't protect them from the venomous audience that the platform inherently attracts.
Exactly. They think they own you.
The audience feels they paid for Riley's lifestyle, so they feel entitled to abuse her. Which brings us perfectly to our final segment, quitting the screen and stunning weddings. Because some people are finally waking up and learning that the reality TV paycheck isn't worth the destruction of their peace of mind.
Exactly. The illusion is breaking. Over on Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Liz McGraw is officially out. She quit the show, and she went on a podcast to share the real, unvarnished reason she walked away.
What did she say?
She slammed the rumors that she is on drugs, saying the toxic speculation and the constant internet sleuthing is just too much for her mental health to bear. She tried to reclaim her narrative.
But here's the problem with trying to reclaim your narrative in 2026. The audience is smarter than the PR. When you go on a media tour to clear your name, you have to be prepared for the digital detectives to pull out the actual receipts.
Oh no, did they find receipts?
Let me read this savage fan comment that perfectly surgically dissects her defense and shows how the internet functions as an amateur FBI. The commenter points out, "Choosing that podcast tells me she is a messy beach. She admitted to using the products from her dispensary. Her Besky Dino has federal charges for drug trafficking cocaine. The fans didn't make up that drugs are everywhere around her and she behaved like the loony bird on drugs."
Oh my God.
I mean, from a purely logical standpoint, if your literal best friend has federal cocaine trafficking charges, you cannot be shocked when the rumor mill starts associating you with that lifestyle.
The fans miss absolutely nothing. They will pull court documents, they will cross-reference Instagram tags, they will find the truth. And speaking of families fleeing the cameras because the heat is too much, Kristen McBee is hinting heavily that the entire family is quitting McBee Dynasty.
Like the whole family.
Yes. She is accusing Allie and Calla of running a highly targeted, calculated smear campaign against Steven, and she specifically called out the Bravo fans as being too cruel to deal with anymore. It is a full, panicked exodus from reality TV.
It's a fascinating psychological arc. They wanted the fame, they actively pursued the fame, they got the fame, and then they realized the horrifying truth. The fame requires you to be a human piñata for millions of angry strangers.
Yeah.
You are selling your dignity for ad revenue.
It's so true. It's a deal with the devil.
Meanwhile, a show that is somehow thriving off its own toxicity and actually gaining prestige is Summer House. They just got an Emmy nod.
An Emmy nod for Summer House.
Yes, which is completely shaking up the established Bravo reality TV hierarchy. For years, Vanderpump Rules, or the legacy Housewives franchises, were the crown jewels of the network, and now Summer House is getting actual television Academy recognition. It proves that authentic, messy youth culture is outperforming produced, wealthy middle-aged drama.
I mean, I love Summer House. I watch it religiously, but even the diehard fans are arguing the show is just limping along right now, structurally.
Limping how?
The entire season's narrative weight was basically carried on the back of the Amanda and West cheating drama. A commenter pointed out the structural flaw perfectly, saying, "Please, they have drama because of the Amanda West affair, the two people they just kicked off the show. Much like Scandival, the show will limp on for a while." Then back to 40-somethings pretending to be 20-somethings in the Hamptons for the weekend.
I mean, they are not wrong. The premise is aging out.
But you know what? Enough about toxic breakups, federal charges, and limping television shows. We have dissected the darkness for long enough. I want to end this deep dive on a high, pure, genuinely emotional note to cleanse our palates.
Please, I am begging you, give us some serotonin. Give us a reminder that human connection is real.
Dolores Catania's son, Frank Jr., got married. He officially tied the knot with Nicole Perricho, and they got married at the vintage house in Portugal's Douro Valley.
Oh, that's beautiful.
My heart is so incredibly full for Dolores and her entire family. They have been engaged since 2025, they weathered all the planning, and they finally had the most beautiful, romantic, flawlessly executed wedding weekend. It is a reminder that amidst all the Bravo chaos, these families do have real, beautiful milestones.
Let's run down the aesthetic details, because this is how you plan a wedding that honors tradition while remaining incredibly chic. It wasn't just a basic, overproduced reality TV ballroom event designed for cameras.
No, it was so authentic.
They deeply honored her heritage with a traditional Catholic ceremony, officiated by their own parish priest. They flew into Portugal. And the food was a culinary masterpiece. Artisanal cheeses, fresh burrata with heirloom tomatoes, perfectly cooked filet mignon, local lobsters, and of course, endless pairings of local Portuguese wines from the Douro Valley.
Stop, I am so hungry now.
And for dessert, they didn't just have one cake. They had a 4-tier cake with ivory buttercream, a separate chocolate cake with salted caramel filling, and traditional pastéis de nata.
I am literally salivating just thinking about that menu. But it's the reception details that I am completely, utterly obsessed with. They had this incredibly romantic, elegant, traditional daytime ceremony, and then for the party, they completely flipped the vibe.
What did they do?
They had an energetic DJ playing exclusively early 2000s club music, and they had a projector playing iconic scenes from Miami Vice on the stone wall behind the dance floor.
That is so cool.
It is so hyper-specific, so fun, and so authentically them. They didn't do it for a Pinterest board. They did it because it's what they love. And their first dance, Risk It All by Bruno Mars. They said the lyrics really spoke to their journey. It is just so romantic and perfect. I am raising my extra shot espresso martini right now. A toast to Frank Jr., Nicole, and to actual real love surviving and thriving adjacent to the Bravo universe.
Cheers to that. It is rare, it is beautiful, and it gives us a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, not everyone who touches this reality TV ecosystem ends up needing to send a cease and desist letter to their castmates. Some people actually get a happy ending.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive today. But the analysis is not over. We are turning the conversation over to you, listening right now. We need you to weigh in on the psychology of everything we just discussed. Which celebrity story shocked you the most today? Are you more floored by the absolute delusion of Janet's unapologetic drink toss defense, or the complex financial and legal mess of Dorit and PK's separation?
And we also need to know about the chaos in your own life, because we shared ours. What's the weirdest internet rabbit hole you've fallen into recently? Because if I am getting sucked into the sociology of 2007 denim trends at 6 in the morning, I know you are out there researching wild things too. And most importantly, what tiny, insignificant inconvenience almost sent you over the emotional edge this week? We want to hear about your dropped iced coffee moments.
We really do. It makes us feel less alone in our madness. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, dissecting the culture, and gossiping with us today. Please remember to subscribe to the feed, leave us a 5-star review, because let's be honest, leaving 4 stars is just passive-aggressive. And share this deep dive with another gossip-loving bestie in your life who needs a laugh and some deep analysis.
And before we go, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to mull over. We've talked about cease and desists, the psychological toll of editing, and the horrifying reality of teenagers receiving racist hate mail. As audiences continually demand more and more raw authenticity and drama, are we eventually going to see reality TV regulated like a hazardous workplace? Think about it. What happens in 10 years when the next generation of Bravo kids who were used as props and never consented to being on camera come of age and decide to legally sue the networks and their own parents for monetizing their childhoods and exposing them to millions of abusive fans? The legal reckoning is coming, and it is going to change entertainment forever. Stay fabulous, stay a little nosy, and we'll see you on the snark side.